we are joined this morning by a very special little girl who is fighting for her life against a rare genetic disorder called FOP. Here to talk about that, plus Allie herself, are her parents joining me this morning. I have Angie and Gabe McKean, also Allie, this morning. Thank you both, for all of you, for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. I didn't hear anything about FOP until last week when I was reading about this story. Talk a little bit about what this is.
It's actually, FOP is short for Fibrodysplasia Ossificans Progressiva. It's an extremely rare genetic mutation that occurs in about 1 in 2 million people.
Wow.
Basically, her bones or her muscles and connective tissues are turning to bone. It will eventually, if no cure or treatment is found, it will inhibit all of her mobility. And basically, she's freezing into a statue.
Wow. How is that on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we have to do a lot of preventative measures. We have to restrict a lot of her play. Any type of trauma whatsoever. Any type of trauma exacerbates the condition. Unfortunately, it took 5 years to get her diagnosed because a lot of doctors don't know about it. So all of the procedures that they did to try to diagnose her just made her worse. Doing biopsies on the swellings, the surgery.
That had to be extremely difficult.
It was, because it seemed like, you know, we were doing all these things to try to make her better and try to find out what was going on when all they were doing was making her worse. And she went through so much, so many surgeries, so many doctor's appointments. And then eventually we ended up going down to Nationwide Children's in Columbus, Ohio, where Dr. Scott Hickey, who's a geneticist down there, he knew right away as soon as he seen her what it was. So we thank God every day for him being able to tell us, at least now we know, and we can take the measures. But right now there's really nothing we can do except for raise awareness. And, you know, hopefully, you know, the doctors will see this, they'll research it, and they'll know it's so easy to diagnose. She was born with some malformed big toes. It is the #1 clue to FOP. And that's all it would have taken, was somebody to see those toes and know what it was when she was born and run the blood test.
That's got to be frustrating for you, Gabe, especially as a dad.
It's extremely frustrating because as a dad, you know, daddies are supposed to fix everything and be able to protect their kids. And how do you protect your child from themselves? And one of the biggest things we have problems with right now is she's our most active child. She's 5. She wants to do whatever a 5-year-old does. How do you tell a 5-year-old not to be a 5-year-old? You know,
yeah, it's very hard to keep her calm. And if she has a day where she's extremely active all day long, the next morning it shows. She wakes up extremely stiff. She has a hard time moving, but she's amazing. She never complains. She never, you know, says, oh, I hurt, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. She just pushes through everything.
And so it makes it easy to
it
back,
kind of
though,
does,
too, you know, as a community, when you look at such a beautiful girl who just wants to be normal. She just wants to play and have fun and be like everybody else. And Gabe, how are you helping to raise awareness about FOP, and how can folks at home help?
Right now, we're doing a lot of fundraisers to not just for Allie, but eventually it's going to be for others who have FOP and other rare diseases. But right now we're on Twitter, you know, trying to spread awareness there. We're on Facebook. Allie has her own website, at alliesarmy.org. We're just trying to reach everybody that we can, because there's only 185 diagnosed cases of FOP in the United States. And 90% of the time, it is misdiagnosed. So there's a lot of parents out there wondering why their kids are having all these problems, and the doctors, they can't tell them why. And
the kids are just getting worse, and they don't know what to do.
Okay, well, we are all out of time for this segment, but we'll continue to keep everyone at home posted on Allie. And again, there's that website you need to know there to give a donation. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.